Okay, so I think I finally figured it out. The best Sony camera to get in 2023. And I have it right here. So I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't want to like Sony, but after trying Nikon, Fuji, Canon, and all the offerings that they had for the last 60 plus days, pretty much the beginning of the whole year, I really came to the conclusion that Sony provides the best equipment for taking self content, whether that's vlogging, talking head videos, gym content, photography. So I'm going to tell you the best camera for all those things. The best camera of 2023. And it just happens to be Sony. Convenient. Not only that, I'm going to give you the best lens and 5 accessories that I can't live without for taking that content. And at the end of the video, I'll share with you a secret item that I use to make my footage more cinematic, give me more versatility out of my camera and my lens. So starting with the camera of choice, camera I fell on, bought this with my own money, the Sony A7C. Now, the Sony A7C is literally the best bang for buck camera you can get in 2023. I'm talking about used about $1,500, and that might sound steep, but realistically, what you're getting in this package is totally worth it. The camera's full frame, and if you don't know what that means, it means that this camera gives you the best image quality, the best low light performance. This is gonna outperform any entry-level Sony camera or Canon camera. It looks so good. And me personally, I've been testing the FX30, the Canon RP, the Nikon Z30, DJI action cams. I've tried them all. And when I went back after 30, 60 days of trying all these cameras and I looked at the footage on my hard drive, this was the one I fell back on. It was the best image quality. Didn't matter what the environment was, the lighting, this produced the best image. A lot of people complained about this camera when it came out. The grip is kind of small. But realistically, you want a small, lightweight, compact camera, and that's what Sony delivered in the A7C. The C stands for compact. So the camera is also weather sealed, and what that means is that I don't have to worry about dust or water or anything getting on this camera and messing it up like any average camera. So it makes me more confident to take it out and use it. And last thing that I love about this camera is that it has a crop mode, which means that any lens you throw on here is essentially 2 lenses in one. So if you put a 24 mil on here and times it by 1.5, it's a 35 mil. So you can get nice wide shots and then 35 for more cinematic looking shots. And because it's full frame, even in that crop sensor mode, it's still going to give you great results. Now, when it comes to Sony lenses, there's so many different options, and that's essentially why I ended up on the Sony system. They have the most versatility. You want a fast, wide prime lens? You got it. You want a lens that's zoom capable, you got it. You got a lens for portraits, there's third-party manufacturers, and that was initially the thing that I didn't know about Sony that the other brands didn't have. Like Canon's super strict about their RF mount. Nikon doesn't really have third-party support because who shoots on Nikon? Coming from an ex-Nikon user, I had the Nikon Z6 too. So the best lens that I found, bang for buck, usability. I keep saying bang for buck a lot, don't I? But the best lens that you can pair with the Sony A7C, in my opinion, is this Samyang 24mm. Now, this is a 24mm f1.8, and while it's not the smallest lens in the world, it's relatively small. They have some pancake lenses that are like 16 and 20 that are crop sensor lenses. This lens is full frame, so you can put in that crop mode and get 2 lenses in one, 24 and 1.5 35. But it's also super duper light. So you put this on the camera, you're not worried about being fatigued. It's 1.8, which means it's fast. It's great in low light environments. It gives you amazing depth of field. It just really is so good for its price. If you have more money, there's a new version of this that came out that I think is even better. I haven't tested it out yet, but I'm pretty sure it has the same mathematics of this lens. There's this Sony 20mm G Master lens that's like $700, $800. It's ridiculous. The camera body itself, the Sony A7C, is already $1,000 something. So I wouldn't recommend that lens. This is the best alternative right here. So once you combine the Sony A7C with the Samyang f1.8 24mm, you have this nice little package. It's still relatively compact. It's extremely lightweight, and you're ready to take content. But before you do that, there's 5 accessories that I recommend. These accessories is what I use on a daily basis to take my content. And let's start with audio. Now, when it comes to audio, I wanted to get a mic that was small, lightweight, durable, didn't obnoxiously sit on my camera, but still produce pretty good sound. And I ended up with this Comica mic. Now this Comica mic is extremely tiny, as you can see. It fits in the palm of my hand. I think it's like a metal build, and it has a USB-C interface on the side, which gives it the ability to be used. Like you can put this on your Mac and use it, but you can also put it on your camera. It's very, very interesting. It has an analog and a digital mode, and it has like a volume wheel. I'm pretty sure that controls the dB. I use it in the analog mode because that's the way that it works with the camera. So you just put that dead cat on there. I took off the shock mount that it came with, and I zip tied and double stickied a pad on there. This is a shock mount right here. So I got rid of that, and now it can sit super duper low profile on the camera. It's great. So it looks kind of like this. Now I have a 3.5 mil cable that runs from the back of this to the side right here, but I'm using it right now. So yeah, here's your little vlogging setup. Super low profile, lightweight mic that produces very good audio for what you need anyway. It's not, you know, like a condenser mic, but it definitely isolates your voice and prevents wind and all that other stuff. Now, next up, if you're vlogging or if you've ever vlogged outside or used the camera outside, I like to stay at f1.8, which gives me the most shallow depth of field, the blurry background. But when it's too bright, you need something called an ND filter, and that's what this is. Now, this ND filter is a variable ND filter. It just goes on the front of the camera. It's a variable ND filter, which means that if I rotate this, it'll get brighter and it'll get darker, depending on how bright it is outside. You just, on the fly, just turn this little wheel. And once you turn that wheel, and once it's on the camera, you don't have to worry about your image being blown out. You just rotate this little wheel right here, and it has like stops on it, and it tells you, you can tell if it's too bright. So you can still have that beautiful cinematic image. The brand of this is Earth, I think it's called, just for the record. They plant a tree every time you buy one of their products. So once I have the ND filter on there, the next filter that I put on here is a Pro Mist filter. Now this Pro Mist filter that gives you this like bloom effect, as you can see like right here. It really takes any LED lights and it also softens your skin. So I just drop that on here, and it helps with the cinematic effect of your image. It gives it a more picturesque kind of style. So I just pop that on there. So now that I can control my light, make my image look cinematic with those two pieces of glass, it doesn't really add that much weight on there, or not weight, but it doesn't add that much distance on the lens. And it's still relatively nice to hold. And I usually plop this camera down when I'm outside. And one of the things that I used to do that so I can self-film myself is an L bracket. Now this is an Explorer L bracket. It comes in silver and black. This is the silver version. It has bubble levels on there. Those bubble levels let me know if I put the camera down for self-filming, if it's even or not. I love this L bracket. It also protects the camera. Now, a lot of people don't like this L bracket because it impedes in the way that the lens opens up, the monitor in the back opens up. But what I actually do when I utilize this is that I put it facing the battery compartment. As long as it's facing the battery compartment, it's not blocking me from opening and using the monitor on the back of the camera. So now that the L bracket is on there, I can be around New York City, drop my camera down like this, and self-record, and it balances on its own. The lens isn't too heavy that it knocks over. So I love this L bracket. It also protects the side of the camera, so you're not putting it down and banging it up. You can also put it flat as well. It'll just record for you. So I usually pop this open, press record, and then leave it to film myself. And I get those shots of like you walking away or walking through the street or waiting for the train. I'll put some of that in there, B-roll wise. But when this isn't enough, when I actually need a tripod, let's say I want to put this on a higher level or a perspective that's more convenient for me to talk to, I use a Mantis Pod. This Mantis Pod, you've probably seen it a million times. If you don't know what it is one of the most versatile pieces of equipment for photography. So this has a swivel ball head right here that you can loosen and move around 360. Let's lock that back into place. You can quick release on here. Has this quick release, and that quick release is so good because it works with my L bracket. I literally just drop it on there, and now it's on. And now that it's on there, I'll just swivel this around, and I have a vlogging setup, Casey Neistat style. Just hold it out, boom, and I can just flip the screen open. There you go. Now the good thing about this Mantis Pod is that it is quick release, which I just took the camera off, but it also opens up and it has these legs. So you can put it on a table to talk. It has a cold shoe mount right here, which I never really use. And then the selling feature of the Mantis Pod is this claw. This claw I've used so many times to get different angles. I usually put my camera on here when I'm at the gym, put the camera here, and then put the claw here, and then just balance it off equipment and record myself from different angles. It's great. It also has a built-in phone tripod thing that I don't really use. And it's also super duper compact. Some of my friends thought this was a gun, but it's literally just a tripod that's super versatile. It fits in my bag. So now that we have our full vlogging setup, we've got our camera, we've got our lens, which is great for low light. We have our ND filter, we have our Pro Mist filter, we have our Mantis Pod, so we can put this anywhere. We have the L bracket to protect the camera. Those are the 5 accessories that I use 24/7 whenever I'm out filming. These are the things that I have in my bag. I'm not going to show you my bag yet. That probably would have been a cool accessory to add. That could have been the surprise accessory, but actually the surprise accessory is way more. It's way better than a bag. It's my secret sauce, this special blue filter. Now, this special blue filter goes on the front of the camera, and what it does is that it turns your lens wider. It makes it a 24, pretty much a 17 mil lens. So you just drop it on here. It adds a little bit of height, but again, still very easy to use this and prop it down to film yourself. But this blue filter makes your lens wider, and it gives a blue, almost anamorphic effect to your footage. So essentially you have 4 lenses in one, because you have 24 mil, a 35 mil with crop, you have a 17 mil with the blue filter, or 17 times 1.5, which you got to do the math, but 4 lenses in one with this blue filter, and it's ND on there, and it's Pro Mist. Like, I'm giving you all my secrets to get amazing footage. So that's the best camera in 2023 from Sony that I researched and personally came to the conclusion of bang for buck. I put a tally of how much all these things cost, but this is my setup going forward. This is everything I'm using. Yeah, I'm using a Canon RP to record now, but that's going back. I got to return that. I just got to play around with it because I was waiting for the Canon R8. But this is what I'm stuck with right now. I still might try the Canon R8, just for the record. That could be a really good contender. Right now I'm filming on the RP with the 24mm 1.8. And the image that comes out of that is decent. But there's some limitations to the RP body that I know the R8 fixes. But the whole system is kind of clunky. This is the most lightweight, versatile system that I like right now, even though it has its shortcomings. But yeah, that's the best camera of 2023. I could talk forever. Go check out the links. I'll maybe put them below.